Welcome to the first topic of our course, Engineering Data Analysis. We will first start, of course, with the introduction to statistics because engineering data analysis, as we all know, is simply probability and statistics. So let's first have ourselves familiar with the different concepts and ideas that we will be going through in the run of our course. Okay, so what is statistics? So you have already undergone several mathematics in the course of your academic learning. So you started with the arithmetic, 'di ba? So yung mga plus, minus, and et cetera, fractions, everything, 'di ba? So then here comes high school. So you've undergone elementary algebra, then trigonometry, geometry, pre-calculus, general mathematics, pre-calculus, basical if you've undergone the STEM track, 'di ba? And in college, so you may already have undergone yung calculus 1, calculus 2, equations, or even advanced engineering mathematics, no? So one branch of mathematics that we call statistics deals with the collection, organization, representation, and interpretation of data. Unlike the previous fields that I have mentioned earlier, no, which mainly deals with the solutions to equations, di ba? Mga how do we find x, blah blah blah. Dito, mas nagdi-deal tayo with different sets of uh, we should say numbers, no? So like uh for example, the set of ages, no? Yung age ng mga students ng klase natin. So if we collect those data and do something about it, okay, we are already doing statistics. No? So in a nutshell, statistics is the process of analyzing data to get useful insights in decision making. One application of statistics, no, in the modern era, especially now na we are already in the fourth industrial revolution, 'di ba? Wherein sabi nga data is the new oil. No, we are talking about data analytics. So when we say data analytics, this is the systematic computational analysis of data by using computing technologies. In contrast with the traditional probability and statistics, data analytics, no, we are already using computers to do the computations of the different measures that we need for us to interpret the data that we have. Okay, so that's one application of statistics, no, data analytics. So I have been mentioning data for quite some time now. And when we say data, these are the raw or unprocessed quantities that we source or we get from our data sources. So ito yung mga, for example, 'di ba sa mga interviews pag tinanong ka anong pangalan mo, 'di ba ilang taong ka na, saan ka nag-aaral, lahat ng data na sasabihin mo dun sa interviewer or lahat ng mga bagay na sasabihin mo dun sa interviewer are what we call data. Okay, and once we process those data, for example, natapos na yung interview, then pinagsama-sama na yung mga nakuhang quantities and qualities, no? Once we process those, arrange them, sort them, no? Group them, okay, those data becomes information. Information is what we call the processed data, no? Then after we have collated or we have segregated those data and transform them into information, once we analyze further those information, we will be able to get some insights. No? So those insights or those patterns, those trends that we get from the data is what we call the knowledge. Okay, so when we say knowledge, these are the insights. Okay, the insights, yung mga how should I say this in Tagalog? Um, excuse me. Parang siya yung mga yung mga meaningful gists or meaningful patterns that you can get from the processed data, no, dun sa information na meron ka. And once you have further analyzed, no, let's say from those insights that you have, from the insights that you get from the information, okay, you arrive with a decision. Let's say for example, maraming mayroong let's say mayroong cellphone sa isang klase. Okay, then ano yung pattern na makikita ko dun, no? So, rather, yung pattern na pala yun, yung maraming may cellphone sa klase. From that, I can further infer or I can decide na, okay, it is feasible to conduct online classes since lahat merong cellphone. So that is what we call the wisdom. Those wisdom are the decisions that we derive from the insights. Okay, so these four stages of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom are what we call data life cycle. Okay, so data analysis is very important, no? So, bakit? Because with data analysis, we can transform confusing random pieces of quantities into a beautiful, insightful, and meaningful presentation of data. As we can see on the picture on the left, on the right rather, no? So, for example, yung Lego, di ba? If you have a brother or sister na bata pa at mahilig sa Lego, 'di ba? It's quite an eyesore to see the Lego scattered all over the place, 'di ba? Like sobrang sakat sa ulo niya tingnan. Pero pag inayos natin 'yon, no? Let's say sinort natin according to pieces, according to colors, then we arrange them no na nakastack ng maayos. Okay, paunti ng paunti mas nagkakaroon tayo ng parang nawawala yung pagiging eyesore niya, 'di ba? Hindi na siya confusing, hindi na siya super random. But we can see na okay, mas marami pala akong blue kaysa sa black or sa green, parang ganoon. Mas marami palang white kaysa dun sa orange and sa green, etc., etc. Okay. And when we explain or when we come up with the story from those patterns, from those yung sinabi mo kanina na mas maraming blue and as compared to the other color. Okay, you will be able to explain it with the story. Okay, yun yung sinasabi natin kanina na wisdom. So dito sa ano na to, dito sa picture natin dito. So you have the data from the start dun sa taas, then yung sorted and arranged Lego pieces, those are what we call information. Okay, and yung presentation niya yung visual representation niya is what we call the knowledge. And once you have explained it and you've come up with the decision, okay, I can create a beautiful Lego house from these pieces of Lego, or something like that. That's what we call a wisdom. Okay, so let's now jump into the statistical terms that you need to remember in the run of the discussion. No, so we have mean two. No, we have two mean statistical terms that hindi nyo pwede kalimutan. No, unang-una is of course population. No, so population, this is the entire set of items where we can draw data for a statistical study. Like we are not going to exclude anything. Lahat ng pasok doon sa criteria mo, doon sa categories mo, are what we call population. No? We're not going to exclude one, okay, or exclude several portion, okay? Because why? Because if we take a certain portion of that population and have it undergone a statistical study, hindi na yun population. That's what we call now a sample. Okay, so a sample, it is a part of population that will represent the entire population for a statistical study. Okay, so that's the main difference between a population and sample. So by numbers, of course, ideally, mas maliit talaga si sample kaysa kay population. Kasi si sample manggagaling naman kasi yun kay population. Okay? Then we have the parameter. Ayan. So when we say parameter, this is the numerical value that describes a population. So once we go to the descriptive statistics part, no, lahat ng mga about population is what we call parameter. And statistic, this is the numerical value that describes a sample. No, so the parameter is for population, statistic is for sample. I have here some examples, no. So how do we differentiate if a certain group is a population or a sample basically. Okay? So first, no, so we have your number of students in RTU. So sige, you can pause this video and think. Okay, I assume you've already paused the video and took some time to analyze. So of course, this is obviously a population. Kasi wala tayong identifier or classifier that tells us, okay, this is a sample, this is a part of a bigger group or a bigger data. No, so kaya yung number one is a population. Now, number two, no, students taking up engineering programs. Yeah. So this number two, no. So of course this is population, no. So although it may change depending on the context of the whole paragraph, no. Kapag mas malaki na yung problem, okay. Pero by this, no, students taking up engineering programs, this is classified as a population. Okay. How about this one? Top 20% of the graduating class. So obviously, no? So this is sample. No, meron tayong classifier or identifier which is yung top 20%, no? We're getting the top 20% of the whole graduating class to represent the graduating class. So that is a sample. Then we have here female faculty members. No, so again, this is population. No, so we have we have strictly identified naman na all female faculty members, parang gano'n. No, so this is population. And last, no, top notchers of the ECE board examinees. Yan. So obviously this is ano no, this is sample. No, bakit? Because we're only getting the top notchers of the whole batch of examinees. Okay? So that's how we determine if the given is a population or a sample because this will matter especially when we are in the different statistical measures, no? When we are computing different statistical measures. Okay. So we have, sabi ko kanina, no? So we have, I have already mentioned yung sa descriptive stat. That's because we have two types of statistics, no? So first we have the descriptive stat and we have the inferential stat, no? So when we say descriptive stat, this deals with the description, nature, or characteristics of data. Anything that we can compute, okay, anything that we can calculate from the data, no? So that is what we call descriptive statistics. And of course, inferential statistics from the word itself, ito, no? From the word inference, no? So when we say inference, hinuha, 'di ba? Parang um conclusion, parang ganun. So this deals with the inferences or claims of the data. So for this course, engineering data analysis, so we will be first dealing with descriptive statistics, then go to inferential statistics after. Okay? Yeah. So now, how do we collect data? No? So how do we, before we process those data, how do we collect data? So we have different methods of data collection. No? So we have five. First, we have the direct. So when we say direct collection, this is the in-person gathering of data via interviews, surveys, no? Ayan, etc. As long as tawag dito, as long as merong human interaction, that's what we call direct collection. Now, and when we say indirect, this is gathering of data with the use of tools without aided interactions. Now, for example, yung mga nakikita ninyo mga online surveys, di ba? Uh, yung mga quick survey, di ba? When you are using, or rather when you are availing online goods, di ba? Something like that. So that's what we call indirect data collection. No? Basta walang human interaction, but you are still gathering data. No? So that is indirect. Then we have registration. As a registration, this is the mandatory collection, meaning this is forced collection, whether you like it or not. No? Mandatory collection of data prescribed by law or policies. Now, best example for this is the civil registry. Diba? Whenever someone is given birth, no? So napanganak yung isang tao, no choice or rather kailangan ng magulang, no? I-register yung bata sa PSA, 'di ba, sa Philippine Statistics Authority. That's because 'di ba, the government needs to account, no, how many people are currently living in the country, no. So it's one part, no. So kaya mandatory ano siya, prescribed by law, no. So usually naman civil registry, birth certificate, death certificate, 'di ba, certificate of no marriage, mga ganun, no. So that's one example of data collection by registration. Then we have observation. No? So observation, this is the non-systematic collection of data using human sensory. No? So wala tayong sinusunod na steps, walang sinusunod na instructions. Basta once you have done observation using your five senses, 'di ba? So that is observation. Or once you get data using your five senses without specific steps or instructions, that is what we call observation. And last, no, experimentation. When we say experimentation, the main difference with experimentation is that no, experimentation, meron tayong sinusunod na steps, merong instructions na pinapaking or parang sinusundan, no? So unlike observation, wala nga, no, like the data collector can freely do anything he wants, no, pero kay experimentation merong steps and procedures na kailangan gawin. Okay, so best example is sa laboratory experiments, di ba? Meron kayo sinusunod na manual, etc., etc. Okay, so that is for data collection. Okay, now, variables. No, so we've already been talking about data for quite some time now. No, so variables. When you say variables, these are the unknown quantities needed to be collected for the statistical study. So data and variables actually they are quite synonymous in statistics. No, so it can be used interchangeably depending on the context. Okay, pero parang in a nutshell, variable is data pa rin. No? So we have two types of variable. No? So we have qualitative variable, the non-numeric description, or the immeasurable characteristic. No? Kahit anong variable na walang numerical aspect, no? Let's say kulay, texture, no, appearance, etc., etc. That's what we call qualitative variable. And when you say quantitative, from the yung taas pala nanggaling to sa word na quality, 'di ba? Kaya siya walang numeric, no? Ayun, no? Non-numeric description. Okay, and when we say quantitative, excuse me, saan nanggaling to? Quantity. No, may number, may bilang. No, so this is the numeric description and measurable characteristics. Okay, so isin natin. Nabura yung letter E. Ayan. So, best example is height, weight, mass, temperature, etc. Now, so we have two types of quantitative variable. First, we have the discrete variable. This discrete quantitative variable, so finite in measure and, or rather, finite in value and are countable. No, meaning, you can pinpoint each data point from one another. Like you can count, no? Ano yung mga example ng discrete natin, no? For example, height. Bakit hindi naman basta-basta nagbabago yung height eh. 'Di ba? Hindi naman basta-basta yung nag-change. Weight as well. 'Di ba? Hindi naman yan mamayang after 5 seconds biglang bibigat. Sa after 5 seconds gagaan na naman. Na hindi siya ganun. When we say continuous variable, these are infinite in values and are uncountable. Meaning they can change drastically. No? They can change any moment in time. So, ang mga example nito is what? Temperature. 'Di ba? Ano pa? Humidity. Mga ganyan, precipitation. Mga sobrang dami na precipitation. Yung mga bagay na yung mga mga quantities na too many to measure, parang ganoon. Too many to store, too many to measure. No, so yun yung tinatawag natin na continuous variable. Okay? So, yeah. Now let's go to the levels of measurement. Levels of measurement important siya especially when you're doing statistical study because dito nakasalalay kung ano statistical measures yung gagamitin mo. No? So we have four. Let's first start with the nominal scale. So nominal scale, this is defined as the scale used for teka, bakit scale to? Yan, as the scale used for labeling variables into distinct classifications without involving quantitative value or order. Okay, so this is also known as categorical variable scale. No, bakit? You are simply selecting from given choices. No, so like you're just asked, no, what do you prefer? Option A, option B, parang gano'n. Ang ano natin dito is option or choices. Yan. Okay? So, meron tayong dalawang main way of collecting nominal scale, no? So first we have the open-ended question and the multiple choice question. So for open-ended question, these are answers shall be grouped according to the label determined by the researcher. Ano pa rin siya? Predetermined pa rin siya. No, kahit magbibigay ng answer yung data subject, no? Yung sagot na yun will still be categorized according to the category set by the researcher or by the data collector. Then we have MCQ, no? To pretty sure familiar kayo. Answers are pre-classified by the researcher. You're just going to pick, no? Yan. Ito, pick. Ngayon natin. Select. Ayan. Okay? So, next. Next, we have the ordinal scale. No? So when we say ordinal scale, these are the variables measurement scale used to simply depict the order of variables and not the difference of each variables. No? So if you are using, let's say, Shopee or TikTok, 'di ba? After you have downloaded the app or not just yung two, no, kahit anong app. 'Di ba? Minsan merong pop-up na ano, yung do you like this app? Tapos biglang may, 'di ba? Nakalagay natin dito. Parang minsan nakalagay, do you like the app? Parang ganon. Tapos may ano, may number of stars, 'di ba? Yan, ganyan. 'Di ba? So, pag pumili ka, then send, no? So, yung method of questioning or method of data collection na ginagawa ng mga applications natin. Now, regarding dissatisfaction, kasi ang hinahabol dyan is, are you satisfied in using the application? No, so, ano yan? Ordinal scale yan. No, so generally this is used to interpret non-mathematical ideas such as frequency, na gaano kadalas, parang ganun. Satisfaction to yung sample natin, happiness, degree of pain, etc. No? So, like for example, isa pa, sa doktor, 'di ba? If you're consulting something, dok, masakit po yung tiyan ko. Tapos, sasabihin ng doc, ipipisilin ko yung tiyan mo from 1 to 10, paki-rate, 'di ba? Pagka 10, 10 yung pinakamasakit, yun. Tapos pag sinagot mo ng doc, 10, doc, sasabihin ng doktor, sana patay ka na ngayon. Yun, so kasi masyado na mataas yung 10 for the degree of pain. No, so yun yung mga yun yung mga scales na or rather yung mga measurements na nag-fall under the ordinal scale. Okay, basta ano yan, ito yung key dyan. Ayan. 'Di ba? To depict the order of variables. Okay? Then we have interval scale. So interval scale, this is defined as the numerical scale where the order of variables is known as well as the difference between them. So si nominal kasi and si ordinal, these are non-numeric levels, no? Non-numeric levels of measurement. Si interval and yung susunod, si ratio, these are numeric scales, meaning they have values. Yan. So, pag sabing numeric scale, may values na yung ating, yung mga quantities na meron tayo. Okay? So, where the order, ayan nga. Okay, so the variables that have familiar constant or computational difference are classified. So, usually, pag interval scale, ano-ano kukuha natin? Ano-ano kukuha natin? Hmm, wait lang. Ay, nagalaw eh, sorry. Ayan, so, sorry, wait lang. Ayan. Um, for interval scale, meron tayong dalawang value na nakukuha. No? It's either the mean or the median, which will be further discussed dun sa lesson number 2 natin. Okay? So, however, despite the numerical reliability of the scale, this does not have a true value. When we say true zero value, rather, true zero value, ano siya? Meaning, this is the predetermined starting value. Kasi we're doing a comparison test when we're doing interval scale. Like, if you've answered this and the reference is this, then you're going to compute the difference between them. Something like that. No? So, then from that, doon tayo makakapag-infer, no, uh, ng idea if what are we going to do with the data that we have. Okay, and last, the ratio scale. Now, ratio scale, this is defined as the variable measurement scale that not only produces the order of variables but also makes the difference between the variables known along with the information on that value of true zero. So, si ratio scale yung pinaka-reliable sa lahat. Bakit? Kasi this scale takes into account the value of the true zero. No, yung pinaka-reference natin. No? So this provides the most detailed information, measures of central tendency, geometric mean, harmonic mean, and the coefficient of variation that can be evaluated from this scale. When we say coefficient of variation, no, this is in layman's term, this one, this is what we call standard deviation. Yeah. Okay? So that is for the ratio scale. So to summarize, no? So ayun yung sabi ko kanina for nominal, scroll natin. Ayan. So for nominal, 'di ba? Ayan, you're to select. Okay? Then kapag ordinal, no? So pili ka lang diyan, pinakamababa, pinakamataas, parang gano'n. Pero walang numerical essence. Okay? Then interval scale, 'di ba? Ayan, no? From 1 to 7, rate your experience. 1 pinakamababa, 7 pinakamataas, something like that. Then you have the ratio scale. So sa ratio scale, no? Ayan, ang ginamit yata dito na zero na true zero is I think it's 1, no, at least. Ayan, so 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, then more than 5. Okay? Ayan. So, excuse me. Mhm. Ayan. So now let's go to data representation. How are data represented in a statistical study? So we have three main. Now, first we have the textual representation. Now, so these are commonly found in texts, no, paragraphs, text, etc. Often hard to understand, requires deep analysis to extract information and what? This is another one is very time consuming. Yan yung pinakakalaban mo talaga in textual representations to extract data. Very time consuming siya. Okay? So that is for textual representation. So next, we have the tabular representation. The data is organized into a table, no? So I'm pretty sure you're already familiar with the table. So drawing na tayo ng very simple table lang, no? Yan. No, so these are easy to organize but may get overwhelming when dealing with large amounts of data. Commonly found in electronic databases, physical records, transactional, etc. So in a table, no, meron tayong few important terms na kailangan tandaan. Yung patayo, 'di ba? Yung mga patayo. Ayun, ang tawag natin dito ay ano, columns. Columns. Yan. Then yung pahiga, ayan, these are what we call rows. Yung leading column, okay, yung leading column, this is what we call the column header. And yung last, I mean yung leading row naman is what we call what? A row header. Ayan. Okay, row header yung pinaka nasa taas ng isang table. So, and the rest, no, yung hindi row, yung hindi header or what we call a body. Ayan. Okay? So that's for tabular representation. And we have graphical representation. For graphical representation, no, so instead of tables, no, we are using different graphs to represent data. No, so this is also known as a visual representation. This is easy to interpret and understand, and it is unreliant on the amount of data handled. No, so regardless kung maliit, like very small data or large data, no, you can use graphs. Okay, however, this representation does not show the raw quantities unlike the previous representation. So, since graphs are used to represent data visually, hindi natin nakikita yung exact data na nakuha natin from the collection. Ganon. No, so, what you are going to see is the macro perspective, no, or the summary. Tingnan natin dito. Ito na lang. The macro view or perspective or the summary. Yan. Yan yung makukuha lang natin for the graphical representation, no? So hindi natin ko if for example, if you want to go detailed, no, dun sa data, then you go to textual or rather to tabular representation because oftentimes, especially in data analytics, no, in the corporate data analytics, tabular representations and graphical representations comes hand in hand. Okay, wherein yung tabular data, okay, yung tabular data. And if we're familiar with this symbol, this is what we call a database. Okay, and from that database, we are going to extract the information that we need, okay, to create graphs. Mga ganyan. So, ito na yung graphs natin. So, they come hand in hand. Okay, so if you want to look for the detailed view, okay, you go to the database. If you want just the macro perspective or the macro view, no, the summary, you go to the graphs. Okay, so that is for um, data representation. Okay, so what are the different commonly used graphs? Kasi although yes, we know the graphs, no, pero do we even know how to use it? Diba? Parang ganun. So, first, let's go to the bar graphs. Bar graphs, this is used, no, una. Okay, so ang first use ng isang bar graph ay ano? To represent progression. How does a certain quantity progress over time? No, parang ganon. Is it declining? Is it increasing? No? And pangalawang use of bar graphs is if you are graphing two quantities, okay, is ano? To compare. To compare the quantities. So, yun yung main use ng bar graph, no? To show progression and to show a comparison. Okay? Depende sa structure. Kasi may mga bar graphs na ano, magkakatabi. No? And for example, a certain period of time, may dalawang graph na magkatabi. So you're comparing the performance of two quantities on a specific period of time. Parang ganun yung idea. Okay? So then we have line graphs. No? So line graphs, this is used to show what? To show trends. So, wait lang. Yan. Or patterns. Si line graphs, no, this is very, usually, line graphs are time reliant. No? Yung kanya x-axis are most of the time in time. No? So, whether months, days, years, no? Pero ano siya, time-based, parang ganun. Lagyan natin dito. Yan. Time-based yung ating line graph. Okay? So, yun, di ba? Meron tayo nakikita dito. For example, yung this, di ba, pababa, tapos tumaas, pero konti lang. Then ito, dalawa magkasunod, bumaba. Then dito, tumaas ulit ng sobra. No, so, nakikita natin yung patterns, di ba? And sometimes we can do forecasting, no? Depends on the data, I mean on the structure of the graph, no? Ayan. Then pie chart, no? So kung kanina we use bar graphs for comparison and progression, line graphs for showing trends. No, pie charts are used for showing composition. a big quantity, no, a big quantity, what is it composed of? No, ano yung kanyang mga parts? No, for example, population pie chart. Sabi dito, no, ano yung may pinakamataas? Obviously, that is China, that is 18.47%, followed by India, 'di ba, which is 17.86, no? So, if you're going to sum every percentage, okay, every percentage, it will always be ano? The sum of the percentages will always be 100%. Kasi you are showing the composition. What what comprises the whole, parang gano'n. Okay, so that is for population. Then we have pictogram. So for pictogram, this is used to show counts, no? Counts lang naman yung pinagagamitan natin for pictogram. Um, this is the most simple of all, no, like if the icon or the logo is not complete, therefore hindi makukuha yung buong count, parang ganun. So for example here, di ba, tao, no, so sabi dito 9,079 dead, 2,000 2,608 injured, and 12,664 missing, no. So without looking at the numbers, we can infer na, teka, mas maraming image ng tao yung missing. So, big sabihin, mas maraming missing. Konti lang yung injured. Parang ganun. No? So, for counting lang ginagamit si pictogram. Then we have scatter plot. No? Si scatter plot naman is used to show relationships. And this is commonly used in scientific scientific studies. Commonly, commonly. No, so kasi bakit scatter plot determines if a data set is closely related or is very dispersed. Parang ganun. No, so if you can see, for example, dito sa sample natin, this one, as you can see, concentrated on the middle, going upward. 'Di ba? Of course, ang basa natin is from left to right. 'Di ba? So, they're very closely related, meaning ano, they have a strong positive relationship kasi going upward. Ayun. Okay, then dito naman, dun sa second pick image natin, 'di ba? Papansin niyo, medyo ano naman, medyo related pero not so much. I mean, medyo tawag dito, naka-concentrate pero not as much as the first one, 'di ba? So this is a weak negative relationship. Bakit siya naging negative? It points downward. Okay, if you're going to draw a line, no? Ayan, it points downward. Then third, no, ito talaga totally scattered all over the place, no? Meaning this has no relationship. No, walang relationship with each data set, each data point within the data set. Okay, then we have the nonlinear relationship. So, pag nonlinear, hindi siya pababa lang, hindi rin siya pataas lang, no? So bumaba, tumaas. Basta like there's no one specific direction. If it's going up, if it's progressing, or if it is deteriorating. Okay? So that is for scatter plot. Then we have map chart. No, map charts, these are used, no, to represent data that is location dependent.